You're a slightly different person in every room you walk into. You are the polite, measured professional in the morning meeting, the loud, unfiltered instigator at the dive bar with your oldest friends, the shrinking, quiet child at the dinner table with your parents, and you've quietly assumed there's a real one waiting backstage. The authentic you. The primary identity you return to when the last door locks, when the blinds close, when there is no one left to perform for. There isn't. There is no backstage. There is no static core identity resting in the dark. You are secretly terrified of this. You spend thousands of dollars trying to find yourself. You take retreats and personality tests to locate the source code, but you are hunting a ghost. Because the instant you check on that authentic self, you're watching. And watching is just another room. Let's call this the quantum self. In quantum mechanics, the observer effect states something impossible. The mere act of looking at a particle fundamentally changes how it behaves. You cannot measure a thing without altering it. Your personality works the exact same way. Think about the last time someone pointed a camera at you. They said, just act natural. What happened? Suddenly you forgot how to hold your own arms. Your hands felt like heavy, useless appendages. Your smile turned into a painful grimace. You tried to simulate the act of being you, and it looked entirely fake. That fast, that simple. This happens inside your own head, every single day, when you sit alone in a quiet room and try to meditate on your core essence. Who is doing the looking, and who is being looked at? The observer and the observed cannot be the same thing. You cannot look at your own eye without a mirror. The self is a committee that's never all been in the same room at the same time. You have a work self, a romantic self, a crisis self, a deeply exhausted midnight self. They take shifts, they do not share notes. You think you are the CEO of this committee, but you aren't. You are just the building they rent space in, which leads us to the context trap. Psychologists call this state-dependent memory. In 1975, researchers ran an experiment on scuba divers. They gave them a random list of words to memorize underwater. Then they tested their recall back on dry land. The divers failed miserably. They couldn't remember the words. But when the researchers put them back underwater, they remembered everything. The environment held the data. The water was part of their mind. Your personality is just like that list of words. It is locked to the physical space you currently occupy. Walk into your childhood bedroom. Notice how quickly your posture slumps. Notice how your tone of voice rises half an octave. Notice the immediate, unearned teenage resentment. You revert instantly. Now walk into a high-end luxury store. Notice how you suddenly stand straighter, how you suck in your stomach, how you speak in hushed, serious tones. You are literally wearing the room. The room dictates the self. So what happens when there is no room? What happens in a sensory deprivation tank? Or alone in your car on a dark highway at 3 a.m.? You think this is when the true self finally steps forward. It isn't. It's just the silence before the next character steps onto the stage. Which brings us to the most uncomfortable part, the phantom audience. Even when you are entirely alone, you are not alone. You are still performing. Watch yourself the next time you drop a glass in an empty kitchen. It shatters on the tile. You might curse out loud. You might roll your eyes. You might sigh dramatically. Who are you sighing for? There is no one there. But your brain automatically constructs a phantom observer, a future biographer documenting your struggle, a judgmental deity watching from the ceiling, the collective invisible gaze of the internet. We are so deeply conditioned to be perceived that we invent perceivers in the dark. You curate your private thoughts as if they might be read aloud in court. You feel sharp guilt for passing thoughts no human will ever know. Because the ego cannot survive in a vacuum. It needs friction to exist. It needs a mirror. If there is no one looking, the ego starves. So you feed it with imaginary eyes. You are constantly generating a reflection because you are terrified of the void behind it. This sounds like a nightmare. It sounds like you are hollow, like you are nothing more than a wind-up toy reacting to furniture. The entire self-help industry relies on this exact terror. They sell you silent retreats and leather-bound journals. They sell you 10-step programs to find the real you. They want you digging in the dirt for a treasure chest that was never buried. Because as long as you are searching for it, you are paying them. But stop digging. Look at the shovel. Look at the dirt on your hands. The realization that there is no fixed, concrete you isn't a tragedy. It is the ultimate jailbreak. If there is no core identity, there is nothing to defend. There is nothing to betray. You cannot be a hypocrite if you are a fluid ecosystem. You are not a statue carved from marble. You are the water moving through a pipe, taking the exact shape of whatever contains it, and then moving on. Think of the immense relief in that. The pressure of modern authenticity is completely fabricated. You do not owe the world a consistent narrative. You do not owe your past selves any loyalty. They were just tenants. And they moved out a long time ago. When you walk into a new room tomorrow, let the room change you. Let the committee argue. Play the exact role the moment demands. Because the only authentic thing about you is your capacity to adapt, to shift, to survive. You are not a noun, you are a verb, a constant, brilliant, happening thing, and you don't need anyone looking to prove you exist. You just need to keep moving,